What's happening? Rebirth life. Been a whole lot going on, holidays, all kinds of excitement, family, food, probably eating too much, and we're all wishing we didn't because we got about 10 pounds that we got to say, okay, Jesus, that was not of the Lord. I got to get off. So our topic this week is transform. And I was getting ready to sit down and do some studying about transforming and what it means and all this stuff, and had to run a quick errand, and I was like, no, I'll get to that when I get back. And stuff just started popping in my head, and I was like, oh man, I ain't got no way to write this down, I'm on the road. But then God kind of hit me with something. He's like, sometimes the impromptu and the I've not sat down with my Bible yet. Obviously, I've sat down with my Bible today, but not about this subject. And he's like, but sometimes the impromptu is where the real of it comes in. The impromptu is also where you let the Lord lead, where you let what God's trying to tell you pop up instead of what we're trying to bring out. And sometimes, I'm not saying that studying is not bad, that, having your notes is not, it's not a bad thing. But I think sometimes what the Lord wants us to do is kind of let him have the reign for a minute and let him speak. So I was a little nervous about that, but I said, okay, Jesus, we'll roll with it. So our topic this week is transform. What I was thinking about transform, when we come to Christ, the Bible calls that our old man, our old self, who we used to be. We were in the dark. We were hidden in the dark. We didn't have the light of the Lord in us. And a lot of times that transformation, just like butterflies, when you think about it, when they transform, they don't get to go to a bright sunny spot. They don't get to go somewhere that's nice and heated and feels good and all that stuff. They get to build themselves a little cocoon and then sit in there until it's time to come out. And then when they transform, they have to break out of that and break themselves out, because there's been several people that have tried, like when they see them struggling or different things like that, that they will physically cut open the cocoon of a butterfly to help them out. But what happens when they cut open the cocoon of a butterfly to help them out, it actually gives them the ability to now not be able to fly, because their wings had to have that breaking out, that transformation that probably hurts. It does not feel good. It feels awful. When they come out, if they don't have that, they don't get to fly. They don't get to be what God called them to be as a butterfly today, because guess what? You don't even have the strength to stand. And I got thinking about that, and when we come to God, we go through a huge transformation process. Sometimes that process is a little easier for others, I feel like. But a lot of times that process for us sometimes hurts, sometimes is painful, sometimes it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of change, it takes a lot of things from the unknown that we don't know. And then when we transform into God, it brings us from the dark now into the light. We are children of the light. Why are we children of the light? God is light. But also what happens as children of the light is we are able now to go out and dispel darkness. So I thought that was kind of interesting about transformation, because I guess I never had thought about it like that. But then I thought about, God, your path runs down the rabbit hole in your mind sometimes. Well, what are the things that we transform from? Or things like that. So as a Christian, our transformation is important. A lot of people will downplay when people are coming to God. Oh, that's great. It's cool. That's cool and all. But it's really not that big of a deal. It is a big deal. Because when we transform, we come out from our old selves. We come out from the anger. We come out from the bitterness. We come out from for unforgiving. We come out from wrath. We come out from malice. We come out from being slothful and not wanting to do the things of God, and just being really lazy about what we're supposed to be doing today for Jesus. our transformation process, I feel like in the spiritual realm, is a blinding light. And I believe that it also, that's why I tell everybody, if the devil is not, his little enemies and whatever are not after you during the day, you may be doing something wrong. And I'll explain to you why. I had a friend of mine that knew a girl that was a witch. And she was sent every year to these church camps to try to disrupt church camp, to try to disrupt the things of God, to try to disrupt people being transformed. But as she went to these church camps more and more, she realized she was on the wrong side. So when she was there, she would not do whatever the forces of Satan were telling her to do. And when she would wake up in the morning, she would wake up with bruises and things of that nature. And when they would ask her what happened to her, they would tell her the night before, or she would tell them the night before, she refused to do the assignment, whatever that was for the day. And the demons would beat up on her. So she also explained to them, because they were like, well, how do you know who to go after? How do you know today who is the target person you're after or what you're supposed to be doing? And she said, because children of God on the astral plane show up like a blinding light. She said, when witches, warlocks, and anybody else go out onto the astral plane, they see us very well. So they know where to go. They know where we are. They know not necessarily what we're doing at the moment, but they can physically see a light. And I thought that was very interesting because I didn't know. I know God shows up as light, but I had no idea we showed up as light. And they said, and it's even worse when we're fasting. It's almost so blinding when we're fasting that they can't look at us because it's like a 10 million lumen watt bulb in the middle of the dark, shining. So we shine as a light as a Christian when we're transformed. We're automatically lit up to the enemy on where we are, what we're doing, what's happening. But then we also, when we fast, do the same thing, because fasting, again, transforms your carnal man into something now that's not so big and bad anymore, but your spiritual man is like, let's go to war today. So when we transform as Christians, I believe it is one of the most powerful things that splits the atmosphere for the devil when we come on the scene. That transformation is something that we have to have as a Christian person. And you'll know you're transformed by Christ because your thinking is going to start being a little different. You're going to feel differently about things. When temptation comes to you, which is a huge arsenal from the enemy, I feel like in today's world, massive arsenal to tempt us to desire and do things that do not line up with the things of God, and we know that God would be very upset about. And that transformation literally turns all of that focus onto the Lord, and it turns it onto how do we combat this, and it turns it into, okay, we used to fight this battle this way, but now guess what? We don't fight our battles the same anymore. I fight my battles with the Lord. I don't go in by myself. I don't go in with how I think or what I feel today, although sometimes we're human and we done rush in and we done, forgot Jesus in the background somewhere. He's still standing back there going, you want me to come? Or like, are you just doing this on your own today? But that transformation process is such a huge, huge, huge thing for Christian people. If we do not go through the transformation process, you will start back at the very position you were at. Your old ways are still looking real good. Now, do we still fight that when we come in as Christians? Yes. You know why? Because the devil knew he got you with it before. Do you think he's going to give up that easily? Because all of a sudden you said you love Jesus, you got the Holy Ghost, you got baptized or whatever, and you come in today and he's like, I'm not bothering her no more. She's marked by the chosen one. I'm not touching her. That's not how this works. He then goes, oh, that's really cute you did that today. I love that you think you got Jesus. Let's put your mouth where your money is. You know what I'm saying? That old saying. Let's do this. Let's really see how far you're going to take this thing and are you going to hang on. And that transformation process is so important for us because it shows us what we're made of. It shows us that God is who he says he is. Even when I feel like I'm not who I'm supposed to be today, I've fallen short, I'm not doing whatever, like that I still have the God of all creation, of heaven and earth, fighting for me and helping me with that transformation. Because he will, if you want it, he will help you with the transformation. But that transformation, again, has to be something that we want. If you notice that things are not the same some other kind of way, you have to realize, okay, something's happened to my transformation. Because the devil's job is to be at us all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with his little enemies and the spiritual forces of this world. They do not sleep. We get to sleep. They don't. So it's a non-stop barrage on us, and that transformation, that's why it's so attacked most of the time in the world. That's why it's so attacked by your friends, by your family when you come to Christ. And even when you get into this thing and you've been in it for a while, people are still attacking your transformation, trying to tell you lies. It's not real. This is just a phase you're in. Remember that last phase you were in? Yeah, okay, girl. You do you, boo, and I'll see you in a little while, and you'll be back hanging out. You know, we'll be at the club drinking again. You go be out dancing. You know, this is not you, but I think it's cute you're trying something new. Oh my gosh, I've heard that before. Oh my gosh, I think it's so cute that you have found a purpose and something that you want to do. And then you get the little cute smile behind it, like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like they don't believe anything you just said. Guard your transformation with everything that you have and everything that you are. Because at the end of the day, if the devil can make you doubt your transformation, and that transformation is not just when you first come to church. That transformation can happen as your seasons in God change. Those transformations go from you transforming from a new babe in Christ to now being what I call a rock star in Jesus. You might be a prayer warrior. You might be an intercessor prayer. God might be turning you into a preacher, an evangelist, something, missionary, anything, teacher, all these different things that he's going to transform you into now after you had your first transformation, because it's a process. He's always going to be transforming you into something else to better the kingdom, to better what he has, to better what he needs us to do. But the Bible talks about how we need to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. That doesn't say once. That doesn't say twice. That doesn't say when you're feeling bad today. It's all the time. Why? Because the only way that the devil gets any of us now is in here. He will rack this as hard as he can with all the lies, fear, and doubts, worries, anxieties, depressions. Like all these things he's trying to throw in there to get you unfocused. Because he knows, if he doesn't necessarily know your path, because he's not Jesus. He does not know everything. But he knows that the Lord has a purpose for you, because why would the Lord would have called you if he didn't have a purpose for your life today? Why would the Lord be so concerned about your soul and where you're going if he doesn't have a purpose for you? So the devil knows there's something you have to do today. And that transformation is part of where you're going. So I need to stop your transformation right now. I need to stop where you are in Jesus. I need to stop your purpose. I need to stop your desires for the Lord. I need to stop your focus. I need to stop whatever I can do today to get you to falter, stumble, fail, doubt yourself, and everything else. Get you to attack other Christians. Like all kinds of craziness that the devil will come to us, try to get us to do to stop the transformation. If you are feeling that in your life today, look, when the battle gets hard, even when you hit your knees and go down, if you are getting wailed on and hit, sometimes we take hits, and we didn't intend to take no hits today, but guess what? We took a couple. But even on your knees while you are on the ground, you should be praying. I tell everybody, we have the power to dispatch the angels of heaven to do what we need to be done. Call on them. Call on the Lord. And you keep that battle going. Don't give up where you are in your transformation today. Somebody is counting on you, minus yourself, for that transformation. Obviously, you're counting on yourself for it. but somebody else close to you, somebody maybe you don't know yet, maybe somebody is waiting for this specific season that the Lord transforms you into, to get them to be what they need to be. And not that we are anything special, but the Lord will use us as a tool. And if we are willing to serve, He will take our hands and feet wherever we are willing to go. So maybe that's what your purpose is. You're fighting through heaven and hell right now. Heaven's on your side, hell's in the front. Y'all fighting all that together. Guess what? Keep going. Your transformation is coming. But don't think you're going to stop there. Don't think that the Lord is going to stop transforming you into what He needs you to be. What we always have to say is, what's your will today, God? What's your will for me? If I'm transforming and I'm in that transformation stage, help me to endure it. And help me to learn what I need to learn so that I can be a blessing to someone else, so that I can serve the way you need me to serve. Because every trial, every tribulation, every temptation that we get out of, and even sometimes the ones we don't, we learn from. It's always to better the kingdom of the Lord. He will always take our pain and our brokenness and all the things we feel like we get screwed up in life, that the world would look at us and cast us off to the side, and the Lord said, I can use that pain today, and I will use it. Once I transform you and we get this right, today's going to be a good day. You're going to be on your point today. You're going to have somebody that maybe never even tells you that they were waiting for somebody to be where they needed to be for the Lord today, and here you come walking in with the atmosphere of Jesus, breaking chains and breaking atmospheres as you walk in. You don't even know you're doing it. Let the Lord transform you this week into something beautiful. If it's a couple weeks, if it's a month, sometimes these seasons that we get transformed in, man, shoo, we feel like they last a lifetime, even though they don't. But they're for a purpose. Don't look at it as a bad thing. Don't look at it as the Lord, looking down on you and thinking you did something wrong. He's not. He just wants you to be on your best game. You're on a training ground every day. We're on a battlefield every single day that we have to walk into and realize that if the Lord is not training us for it, we're going to get taken out in battle before we ever knew we were in it. That's not what God wants for us. He wants us to be victorious. He wants us to live a prosperous life. He wants us to guide and lead others to the light. Guess what happened to us when we came in for our transformation process? Somebody guided us and led us straight to the light. We didn't even know what the light was about till we got there. Just like everybody else, come into the light, man. It does something to you. Let it transform you today. Let it bless you this week. Let the Lord tell you what your transformation is about. And y'all have a blessed week. May the Lord bless and keep you. His face shine upon you. Because He is good. And He is faithful. And He is ever for us. God bless y'all.